You walk into a room and feel it before anyone speaks, a tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. But when you look around, everyone is smiling, laughing, pretending, and you realize something terrifying. You are the only one who can see it. This is not about being smarter. It is not about being special. It is about carrying a kind of vision that isolates you from the world, even as you stand in the middle of it. Because once you see through the games people play, the masks they wear, the collective dream they call reality, you cannot unsee it, and that changes everything. Today, we simply invite ourselves to settle into this recognition and witness the strange freedom that lives on the other side of loneliness. This contemplation offers a quiet space to understand how to carry your vision without bitterness, how to remain in the game without being consumed by it, and how to find light even in the darkest corners of solitude. But first, let me ask you something, and answer honestly, even if only to yourself. Have you ever felt like you were living in a different world than everyone around you? Like you could see the strings holding up the puppet show while others watched in awe? If so, then what I am about to share will explain why that feeling has followed you like a shadow, and more importantly, what to do with it. The world operates on invisible agreements. We collectively decide that a piece of paper with a president's face has value. We agree that the lines on a map create something called a country. We agree that a title on a business card defines worth. These agreements create stability. They allow society to function. But here is what most people never realize. None of it is true. These agreements are not discoveries. They are inventions, useful fictions that we mistake for reality. And the moment someone sees this clearly, everything shifts. Money becomes ink. Nations become ideas. Success becomes a costume you wear to a party. You are no longer hypnotized. And this is where the danger begins. Alan Watts, the British philosopher who spent his life translating the wisdom of the East for Western minds, understood this peculiar predicament better than most. He saw that awakening was not some blissful escape into peace, but a strange exile from the collective trance. He once said something that cuts to the bone. The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple, and yet everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Because hidden in those words is the entire tragedy and comedy of human existence. Now imagine this. You are watching children play a board game. They are fully immersed. One child slams the table in fury because another took his property. Tears well up. Voices rise. The game is everything. Life or death. You, standing in the doorway, see it differently. Cardboard, plastic pieces, rules invented 5 minutes ago. You are not mocking them. You feel tenderness. You see their innocence. But you also know something they do not. The game will end. The pieces will return to the box, and tomorrow they will play something else. That is what happens when you see clearly. You realize that most of what people sacrifice their lives for, what they lose sleep over, what they destroy relationships defending, is no more permanent or real than a child's game. The promotion, the argument, the grudge, the trophy, all of it temporary, all of it invented, all of it optional. And when you try to tell them this, something strange happens. They do not thank you. They get angry. They call you negative, cynical, a dream killer, because the game only works when everyone agrees to forget it is a game. Your clarity threatens their entire structure of meaning. You're not just disagreeing with them, you're pulling at the thread that holds their identity together. This is why seers have always been dangerous. History remembers them differently now. The mystics, the philosophers, the artists who painted what no one else could imagine. We call them visionaries, geniuses, saints. But in their own time, they were often ridiculed, exiled, silenced, not because they were wrong, but because they were right too soon. Truth is only welcomed when people are ready for it. Before that moment, it is an intrusion, an insult, threat. So what do you do when you see what others cannot? When you are awake in a room full of sleepers, you might think the answer is to wake them up, to shake them, to shout. But here is what you will discover if you try. They will only sleep harder. There is a Zen story about a student who achieved sudden enlightenment. Overjoyed, he ran into the marketplace, grabbed people by their shoulders and yelled, "Wake up, you are dreaming. None of this is real." Do you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because you cannot force awakening. You cannot hand someone clarity like a gift. It must rise from within, like a seed breaking through soil. All you can do is live your truth so fully, so authentically, that others begin to wonder what you know that they do not. But before you can do that, you must survive something most people never talk about, the loneliness. Because to see what others do not means you carry a secret you cannot always share. If you explain too much, they think you are strange. If you stay silent, you feel isolated. You become an island in an ocean of unconsciousness. And here is the paradox. The more clearly you see, the more alone you feel, until something shifts. Let me show you what I mean. And I need you to participate, not just watch. Actually do this with me. If you prefer to just listen, that is fine too. But if you can, give yourself this gift. Just 30 seconds. Wherever you are, soften your gaze. Or if it is safe, close your eyes completely. Take one deep breath. Then another. And one more. Now notice the sounds around you. Do not label them, just hear them. The hum of a machine, the distant voices, the silence between sounds. Notice the weight of your body, the pressure where you are sitting or standing, the temperature of the air on your skin. Now, here is the important part. Notice the one who is noticing, not your thoughts about it, not your analysis, but the pure awareness that is present right now. The witnessing, the seeing itself. This awareness does not judge. It does not resist. It does not cling to pleasure or push away pain. It simply sees, like a mirror reflecting whatever appears, without commentary, without preference. Can you sense it? That quiet presence that has been here all along, watching the entire game unfold? Stay with it for just a moment longer. 3 more breaths. And when you return, notice if something has shifted, even slightly, even invisibly. What you just touched is what the mystics called your true nature, not your personality, not your story, not your achievements or failures, but the unchanging awareness that remains constant beneath every changing experience. This is what you carry when you see what others do not. Not superiority, not special knowledge, but this quiet presence that cannot be disturbed by circumstance. And here is what they do not tell you in the spiritual books. This presence still gets lonely sometimes. Because you are human, you are not transcending the game. You are learning to play it with your eyes open. And that means you will still feel pain. You will still long for connection. You will still wonder if anyone else understands. The difference is this: you know the loneliness is also part of the game. You do not resist it. You do not make it mean something is wrong with you. You simply let it be there, like weather passing through the sky of your awareness. And sometimes, if you are patient, you will meet another traveler, someone whose eyes recognize yours, someone who does not need you to explain because they already know. When this happens, there is an instant bond, a silent smile, a knowing that needs no words. But what if you never meet them? What if you look around and see only sleeping faces? Then you learn something even more valuable: how to be alone without being lonely, how to carry your vision like a lantern in the dark, not demanding that others see by its light, but simply walking your path with steady feet. You go to work, but you do not believe your worth depends on your title. You love, but you do not confuse love with possession. You succeed, but you do not identify with success. You fail, but you do not become the failure. You play every role, but lightly, the way an actor wears a costume, knowing fully well who they are beneath it. Watts put it perfectly. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. Think about that. What in your life are you taking so seriously that it is stealing your joy? What game are you playing as if losing meant death, when really it is just Tuesday? This is not about becoming careless. It is about becoming carefree. There is a difference. One is negligence, the other is wisdom. But I want to be honest with you about something, because most spiritual teachings skip this part. Even after you see clearly, even after you understand the game, your ego will not disappear. It will adapt. It will whisper new lies. And the most seductive one is this: you are special. You see what they do not. You are above them. The moment you believe that, you have fallen back asleep. You are trapped in a more subtle illusion, the illusion of superiority. This is why true sages never claim to be sages. They laugh at themselves. They stumble. They forget. They make mistakes. And in doing so, they remain human, not superhuman, just fully human. To see clearly is not to become perfect. It is to become whole, to embrace both your wisdom and your foolishness without dividing yourself against yourself. So, how do you actually live with this vision? Here are 3 things that will save you. First, patience. Others will awaken when they are ready, not when you are ready. You cannot pull a flower open to make it bloom faster. You will only destroy it. Second, humility. You are not the teacher of the universe. You are a student with a few pages more read than some. That is all. The universe itself is the teacher. You are just another student in the classroom. Third, playfulness. If life is a cosmic game of hide and seek, then laugh, dance, enjoy the absurdity, enjoy the beauty, enjoy the strange privilege of being alive even for this brief, flickering moment. And here is the secret that will change everything. When you stop trying to wake others up, and simply live awake yourself, something shifts. Your freedom becomes contagious, not because you preach, not because you convince, but because you embody a way of being that others can feel, even if they cannot name it. They do not know why, but they sense something different about you, a lightness, a lack of desperation, an ease in the face of what terrifies others. And slowly, imperceptibly, they begin to stir from their own sleep, not because you pushed them, but because your presence whispered a possibility they had forgotten. This is the art of the awakened one, to live so fully, so freely, that life itself becomes the teaching. So let me bring you back to where we began. You walk into a room and sense what others cannot. You see through the masks. You recognize the game. And yes, this makes you dangerous. Dangerous to illusions. Dangerous to pretense. Dangerous to the collective trance. But here is what I want you to understand. You are not broken. You are not cursed with some burden. You are not losing your mind. You are simply waking up. And waking up is the most natural thing in the world. It is returning home after a long journey through foreign lands. It is remembering what you always knew, but temporarily forgot. Carry this vision gently. Hold it with open hands. Do not weaponize your clarity. Do not use it to separate yourself from others. Use it to love more deeply, to laugh more freely, to be more present to this strange, beautiful, temporary dream we are all sharing. Because in the end, the one who sees what others do not is not separate from others. They are the ones through whom the universe begins to see itself. You are not an outsider. You are the leading edge of something vast, waking up to its own nature. Rest in that. And if this touched something in you, if you recognized yourself in this quiet knowing, then perhaps we are walking the same pathless path. Stay close. Let us remember together what cannot be forgotten. Until we meet again in the space between thoughts, carry your light gently and dance